Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another film review. And today we're back with Battle for the Planet of the Apes. So sit back, relax, and get ready as we get right into the story. Caesar has won the war against humanity, but can he win the battle for survival? That is the question of this film. Essentially, what's happened is half the human race have gone down in a bunker, and half the human race are surviving on the surface after the massacre. Caesar walks down the road and bumps into a familiar face, one of the humans he spared. And when they point out to him that the humans down in the bunker have become mutated, it begins to worry Caesar as he realizes they have the power and the resources to destroy the apes and let humanity take over once again, but not on the same playing field as they were once before. His human allies try to essentially help him survive this absolute massacre, but the apes and gorillas become divided, and sadly Caesar dies and loses the dream that he dreamed. The apes who take over after him distort his dream, begin to play it off as their very own, and begin to tell any other ape who disagrees that he is the heathen within the ruckus. This leaves Caesar's friends to become slaves. The children of man are now nothing more than servants to the apes. So yeah, that's quite a short story, but a kind of summary of this film. I can't lie, this is not my favourite film of all the Planet of the Apes. Why? Because the controversial context of what they're implying. They're always trying to make out in the Planet of the Apes franchise that the apes go on to become savages and such, but not savages in the sense that they mean to. I mean, look back at the very first Planet of the Apes film. Zira and Cornelius may have had their jobs as scientists, but they only experimented on humans because they couldn't understand why something in their brain had changed and not allowed them to be able to speak. However, in this film, they imply that the apes were always meant to try and overcome the human race, just to enslave them and turn them into servants. You watch the end of this film, and there's a bunch of little girls walking around with nooses around their neck. Now, this is what really hits home to me about this film. I get what they're implying, I get where they were going with it, but I feel like it gives the wrong message off, and I can see why they had to make a kind of remake of the Planet of the Apes, so to speak, with the new stuff, because this film really does it. It draws away from the whole Caesar's message in the first place. Caesar takes over and destroys the human race in the sense of trying to build a better life for himself, not to just enslave them and use them as servants, but instead, that is what seems to have happened, is the apes over time have evolved to become the masters rather than the prey. Now, of course, this is no different to the animal kingdom. This happens all the time. But there has to be a line drawn between the message and the rhetoric. And I feel like by allowing the human race to become servants, at the end of it becomes more rhetoric than the message. The message being in this, not to become and not to stoop as low as the humans who enslaved the apes. So, for the apes to in turn do the same thing is not unheard of, because as we know, it's happened in a similar vein in the original film, but not as quickly. And if you think about it, in the original film, the human beings are treated like animals in a zoo. They have a human zoo, as they call it in the first Planet of the Apes. They don't necessarily have them at home. Even Dr. Zaius in the very first film questions why Taylor is allowed to walk around freely, as he believes the only place that is deserving of him is a human zoo. So the fact that when they get to their version of coexistence in the end of this film, it shows the children being treated as servants rather than as animals who should be kept in the zoo, is what really troubles me. And for that reason, I give battle for the Planet of the Apes, a 5 out of 10. As I said, for those reasons. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next film review.